Hi, everybody. Today we are sitting down for a candid career chat with Michael Barton, who is the audit manager with Petro Kane & Lemus CPA firm and a 2014 Marion graduate, who is also a former member of the men's basketball team. He is the chairman of the Indiana Board of Accounting, which he was appointed by the governor of Indiana for in 2016. Michael is also on the executive committee is an executive committee member with Indiana CPA Society's Young Professional Leadership Academy and was awarded the 2019 Indiana CPA Society's Advocacy Award. Thank you for all you do for the community, but also specifically the Marion community.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's our pleasure for this candid career chat. So we'll start with, I always like to start with one word. So how are you feeling in this moment? One word.
In this moment, in the, kind of current environment we're in, I'd say I'm blessed. My wife, also Marion grad, we both have recession-proof jobs, and our family's been relatively healthy, with the global pandemic going on. So I'd say one of those two words, either fortunate or blessed, however you want to look at it. So, I know there's a lot of people struggling out there, whether it's their jobs, health, or, kind of just their socially, they're really itching to, get back in touch with folks. I think, we're blessed, and fortunate to kind of still have our jobs and our health.
I love that. I haven't heard blessed yet. I've heard excited, grateful, which could be similar. I
just think, you look at around the world and country and a lot of different things going on, and you and I are here talking, having a pleasant conversation. I think, you got to look at all, positive things anymore. So.
Yep. So I appreciate that. Can you walk us through your career journey from where you thought you wanted to be entering Marion until what you're currently doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny when I got to Marion, I knew I wanted to play basketball, so I wasn't really thinking, I guess, about a career at the time. I thought I'd just go into sales or something like that after college. So I actually started out as a marketing major. I then started taking Kevin Houston's, introduction to accounting my sophomore year. And, he kind of guided me to the accounting world and just, realize, hey, you can get a great job after college. It's recession proof, which is, something I just kind of touched on. You'll always have a job, and it's a skill. You can do anything after college. And that really kind of turned me on to the idea of accounting. And my brother's actually CPA here in Indianapolis. And my uncle Greg, he's actually the CFO at Marion, started there in 2009, kind of around when I did. So I knew accounting was a great route to go, and I'd kind of, find my purpose from there. And I actually went to work before I go there, I did a handful of internships while I was in college. I decided to choose the public accounting route. I thought, that might be the best fit for me right out of school. So I encourage all you guys listening to do as many internships as possible. I actually got talked into working for my adjunct auditing professor. I was actually going to go work for maybe a more regional sized firm here right out of college. I had a nice offer. My auditing professor at the time had just kind of merged with another small firm, really wanted to grow his practice, and talked me into going to work for him out of college. And that was one of the best things I've ever done. He really, encouraged me to kind of get involved, and kind of really grow into kind of the role I am now. So, I had no idea, but, I did a lot of different internships, figured out what I liked and didn't like. And, here I am today. I like to think I found something. We'll see where I am, 5-10 years from now. But so far, I really enjoy what I'm doing.
Fantastic. Thank you for hitting on the internships and the importance of not just knowing what you like, but what you don't want to go into too. I think we forget that they can be valuable experiences regardless of whether we liked it or not.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brandy. So, my first internship was for Celadon Trucking, and I tell this all the time to kids. I really enjoyed what I did. I still stay in touch with some of those folks, but that summer I was, dealing with, the sales and leasing of semi trucks and trailers. And, I knew I didn't want to do that. I enjoyed my experience. I got it on a resume, but, kind of knew that's not what I wanted to do, for my career. So you're absolutely correct.
So the next question is, if you could go back and give that 18, 19-year-old self a pep talk, what would that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know that I'd change a lot of the things I did. I always like to tell students, network, 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 cast a wide net. I still keep in touch, like I just talked about, with a lot of people I've worked for in college or people I interviewed with. Just keep building that network. You never know when you're going to need to fall upon those people. Think of right now, there's a lot of people out of work. I think the more connected individuals are probably the ones, with that faster track to a next job or something like that. So network, network, network. The other thing too, I think, and I kind of had this mindset early on in my college career. I've discovered this here at our firm. I think you can have a great career at, a smaller size business or a smaller firm. The first accounting internship I did was for a big regional firm. I liked it, but just, you went to Marion for a reason, so a smaller company kind of fits me better, personality wise. So, don't think you can't have a great career if you're not going to work for a Fortune 500 company. I know we've started to get those companies recruiting Marion, but, don't think you have to go that route out of college.
That's great advice. Thank you. What do you wish that you would have known in regards to career preparation?
This is something, I kind of asked my wife this question last night when we were talking. I thought Marion did a great job preparing me for my career. I put Marion accountants up with, Indiana accountants or Notre Dame accountants, and she kind of said the same for nursing. I think anymore learning on the job is just so huge no matter what you're doing. So, in terms of, preparing for that, I was kind of thought for myself, maybe don't stress as much about, I remember before one of the internships I started, public accounting, I went back and skimmed my auditing textbook like the night before, just, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, like, what am I going to do? I'd say relax, enjoy the moment, what you're doing, you'll learn everything you need to know on the job. But, that being said, Marion laid a great foundation for me, with accounting. And, I think my wife would probably echo that with nursing as well.
Good. That's good to hear. So I'm going to add another additional question in here. Did you utilize the exchange early?
I'd say I did. I'd be curious to Jenny Morris, and I'm blanking on the other gal's name now and there. But back when it used to be in Marion Hall, I guess early, maybe not, but definitely late. I did 5 years of basketball, took a redshirt year. In my 5th year when I was interviewing, with all these different firms, after each interview, I'd go to the career office, talk about whatever with them, and they'd always help me write a thank you card. I think they usually had a thank you card to steal. And then I'd usually, with their assistants, kind of write a thank you note, and we'd put it in the mail. So I always got a lot out of that career exchange when I went there. I know it's your guys' job to really help these students. I know you want to. So I would encourage everybody to take advantage of that office. The Marion Business Network, I think, has even grown since I graduated in 2014. There's so many of us out there. Just even early on, I'd encourage you to just make sure that exchange knows who you are, even if it's an unpaid internship or volunteer. It's something to put on your resume. So I definitely encourage students to get involved.
Thank you. And so if you could tell students one thing that they should do now to benefit their career, what should that thing be?
Yeah, it's what I alluded to earlier. I would just say network, network, network. Go job shadow for a day. I think you'd be surprised, the number of people who want to help younger people, because ultimately, people like myself, we have to retire one day. They're going to need somebody to understand the business and run it. I think even on a bigger scale, these bigger companies, people are hungry for good, motivated people. Maybe you don't go work for that job, just job shadowing or even interning. But, generally, assuming they like it and you make a decent impression, they'll be able to kind of have a stepping stone to something else. So, network. I remember my sophomore year, right after our basketball season had ended. That next day I was down at, the convention center downtown, at a job fair, big job fair, probably 1,000 people there. And I ended up getting 3 future internships from that, just because going around introducing myself. I think I printed a halfway decent resume and gave it to people, and I got 3 future internships from that. I think people remember folks going up, making an impression, a good one at that, right? So network, just keep building it. Create a LinkedIn if you haven't already, and just start creating those connections, and then that'll lead to a future introduction somehow. So that would be my advice. I know it sounds fundamental and basic, but it's so important.
That has been the overarching thing in 17, 18 of these things that I've done. So as basic as it sounds, it's what students need to do. And it's consistently, everybody that I've talked to said, make sure you start to build your network. And I like how you said cast a wide net, because you never know who knows who in this world.
Absolutely.
So can you talk to us a little bit about how being a student athlete helped prepare you for your career, or helped you gain skills needed in your career, and how being an athlete really comes with a lot of different skill sets?
Well, yeah, absolutely. So before I touch on that, I think anytime you tell someone in an interview, you've been a member of a team, at a college level, I think that's just instantly an advantage for you over someone else, knowing, you can work as a team, but what I think, athletics has taught me, throughout my life is just the accountability factor. You have to stay in shape in the off season when no one's working. You learn to deal with adversity, right? It's very rare. And I know we do have some teams at Marion that, lose infrequently, but, it teaches you to deal with adversity, kind of how to deal with rejection a little bit. And, that kind of, for me, translated to my kind of professional development. The world of public accounting is ever evolving, whether it's accounting standards, new technologies, different roles you kind of put into, you're kind of used to adapting on the fly. And I think that's something I've taken just from athletics from, when growing up to college, and applying that, to my professional career now. That, and I think you adapt really well to a change of, a new scenery. Let's say you got a new employee, a new client, whatever, for me on the basketball court, you're in different situations all the time. So mentally, I think you're just ready to adapt to something else. And you're just better at that than, a non-athlete, in my opinion, but I'm biased.
Perfect. So our last question, it's our bonus question. So what is the hardest interview question that you have ever gotten?
Yeah. So that's a really great question. And I still remember when I got asked this, it was on a phone interview. I remember interviewing with Ernst & Young. They asked me, what is your biggest weakness? And I remember at the time, I just absolutely froze. I'm like, crap, like this sounds so basic and easy, right? But I'm telling you, and it's something I still think about. I think common answers, are, that I see anyway, or, I tend to take on too much responsibility, something like that. So those of you listening, I would definitely prepare for that question. And I don't know that companies ask as many behavioral questions anymore. At least I don't, but I'm sure maybe you have to at a big corporation to kind of weed people out. But that one stumped me at the time, and it's one now I think I'd still, struggle to answer without being, too honest and, maybe scaring somebody. But I have always thought that's a tough question for as simple as it is.
It is. There's a couple of people who said that as well.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Was their biggest their toughest question. So as somebody who does interviews, what question do you like to always ask?
I am an easy interview, I like to think. For our firm, we're so small, we're 14 people on a busy day. For me, the questions are just getting to know the candidate. It's, is this person going to fit in with us? Are they going to be able to, or are we going to be able to, tolerate them for, 60, 70 hours during a busy time of year? So for me, it's more, tell me about yourself. What are you looking for? We're so small, we don't offer every service that a big firm's going to offer. So I'm a little easier, and, it's just getting to know the candidate. So I don't ask those super behavioral questions like maybe a lot of you have encountered before.
Nice. Well, that is all that we have today for our candid chat. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
The knowledge that we've gained from you. So thank you. We really
Yeah, absolutely. And students listening, if you need any further information or there's something I can help you with, please feel free to reach out to me.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Thanks for having me.